Houston suburbs are weird. They don't follow the same typical pattern as other markets, and if you've been here a while, you really start to see the pattern. This is typically what happens. A neighborhood, suburb, master plan community, whatever you want to call it, gets hyped, values go up, and then within a few years, one of two things happen. Number one is that it plateaus. Appreciation kind of stalls out, the demand kind of goes flat, and then everyone in that area starts to look for the next best master plan community or area. Two is it becomes a decade-long, multi-million success story that becomes an anchor of that given suburb. And this isn't random, it is definitely a cycle. Some of our neighborhoods only get to phase 2 or 3 of the cycle, while others get to phase 4 and beyond of the cycle. Now, I did make a guide breaking down the phases of the typical suburban cycle here because it's way too complicated for this video. And I know you're here because you just want to know how to spot the difference between a boom and a bust when it comes to suburbs and master plan communities. So let's do that. By the way, hello, I'm Danielle. I am a Houston suburb realtor, and I started this channel a few years ago because I wanted to give the information I wish I had when I moved here. Okay, so before we get into this, I just want to mention why this is important, especially if you've missed my last couple of videos. It is no secret that we are entering a buyer's market, and that now more than ever, it is super important to know what kind of neighborhood, house, builder, development you are buying into, because you're probably going to be stuck there for a while. Now, most people assume that because a community is new, it will appreciate and it's a good investment. And while that is partially true, you are going to appreciate if you're in a brand new community. It doesn't mean it is the best investment. We have an abundance of inventory. Builders are still pushing out new construction homes as fast as they can. And if they keep building in the way they have been, which is essentially sacrificing neighborhood development and quality and going for affordability and quantity, then y'all are going to have a lot of problems trying to sell these homes in the future. That's just the reality. So as I was making these cycles and trying to figure out which suburbs and communities had success for decades and decades versus the ones that kind of plateaued after 5 to 10 years, what were the major differences between them? And I came up with 7 attributes on the success stories versus the not so success stories. Number 1 is diverse housing and builders. It is not the best investment to me to have a one size fits all kind of community that just doesn't appreciate very well when there is no competition or diversity. You want a community that is mixed with everything from entry-level homes and builders all the way up to luxury within a few miles of your home. If everything in and around you is the exact same square footage, the exact same home, it's just a row of identical tract homes, it's going to be very, very hard to resell in the future, and it's not going to appreciate the same way. Okay, I'm going to start with community pacing because this is often overlooked and it's actually used as a marketing tool. They say that they're the best selling community, which just means that they sell a large amount of homes quickly. And the communities that have done well in the suburbs and areas that have appreciated over years took a long time to plan. They did not just release as many phases as they could, as quickly as they could, even if the demand was there. They were well thought out. They took many years to develop, and they were slow about releasing phases. Realistically, many of these master plan communities could have been done in 5 to 10 years, but they still took 10 to 20 years, and that is because it was well thought out. I cannot stress this enough, especially for the future of the suburbs. You want developers, builders, communities that have well thought out plans and pacing. You do not want a builder or developer that is pushing out houses as fast as they possibly can. You also want to go with communities with proven and reputable developers. This is especially important in the very, very beginning, that you go with a reputable builder, developer, whatever, that has a proven track record, because you are basically at this very early stage buying into their idea. It's not even a promise or a guarantee. You're just saying, I like your idea and I'm counting that you're going to do it. They don't have to do it. Sometimes they don't end up doing it. Number 3 is natural or built-in lifestyle amenities. Developers, communities, suburbs, master plan communities that were interested in developing green spaces, walking trails, retention ponds, playgrounds, those ones did significantly better than the ones that are just interested in filling every square inch with a tract home. In fact, I dare say that this attribute alone might be one of the biggest differences between master plan communities and areas that do really well for decades and decades versus the ones that kind of plateau after some time. Number 5, this one's a given, but highly rated schools or a plan for them. It's no secret that our suburbs are driven and the demand by school districts and school rankings. And another part I think a lot of buyers and builders overlook is that they think being in a highly rated school district is enough for long-term demand. And while it is a very important factor, that alone is not enough to see the decades and decades long appreciation. The ones who have or will set up plans for town centers, restaurants, entertainment areas within the master plan community have been wildly successful and are going to be more successful in the future. Our buyer needs are changing, people's lifestyles are changing, and now more than ever, people are seeking convenience and not wanting to leave their community unless they absolutely have to. Master plan communities that have commercial planned for sure is a definite good investment. This and space and green space are big selling points for decades and decades of appreciation. There are many, many master plan communities right now, of course, that are offering builder incentives. You probably can't find a master plan community right now that isn't offering some, but an excessive amount of incentives is also a red flag. They should have some sort of demand besides pricing that is driving people there. If it is just pricing alone and trying to be the best and cheapest builder, that's definitely not going to appreciate well if they have nothing else to offer. If a suburb is really far out and relies heavily on commuters and doesn't have anything job-wise to offer the area, it's definitely going to struggle or plateau. The Woodlands, Cinco Ranch, all these areas attracted major corporations and businesses to the area. They left space for them to purchase within their community, which has been a very good way to anchor themselves there and to keep the demand for years and years to come. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe as it helps the algorithm know that this is good information. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.